for worry-free retirement. If you can hear me loud and clear, can you help me to type 1 into the chat just to make sure? Yes, good morning, everyone. Wow, so many people. So happy to see all you guys. And there's more people coming in. Awesome, thank you. Safarina, Paysan. Oh, the chat moving too fast, I cannot see your name. Florence, Zaidin. All right, so happy to see all of you here, right? You can hear me loud and clear, I know that. So what I'm gonna do while waiting for more people to come in is that I'd like to get you guys to share where you are joining in from, especially like which city, because I believe today we have an international crowd, right? I'm so honored to be able to serve you guys today. Thank you. Just saying, KL, I see a lot of KL because the chat is moving very fast. Young one is from PJ. Wow, we got Kuching, Port Klang, Singapore. Nice. Wow, Bora Bora. We've got people from overseas as well. Jakarta, yes. Rofi. The chat is moving too fast, man. Thank you very much for all your participation. I promise you, today's session is going to be an eye-opening one. Hopefully today you'll be able to learn at least one thing out of this session. That's my intention. KL no sound at the moment. Anybody, if you got any technical issue, please feel free to reach out to my admin, right? She will help you. No sound. Okay, sorry, no sound. So Jakarta, Indonesia, we've got Bota, London. Wow. Thank you very much for joining in. So I think over there is early, no, this is at night already, right? Toronto, nice. Bangkok, welcome. Sawadee. Indonesia, thank you very much for joining. All right, we have more people coming in now. UMW Aerospace. So while we're waiting for more people, so what I'm going to do right now is to just run through with you some housekeeping, right? Yeah. So make sure you're using a supported browser, either Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, or these are recommended browser. Ensure that you are in an internet connection stable place, right? Because I've been conducting about 200 plus webinars over the last 3 years, especially when I started during MCO, right, during COVID. And it's not safe to be driving and being online. I hope you guys are actually in a stationary place, right? Test your speaker output in the settings before the webinar starts to ensure that everything is working correctly. If you're experiencing any technical difficulty, try refreshing your browser and rejoin the webinar. Okay? So yeah, we have more people coming in. So give yourself a round of applause for being here today. We have about 1,400 people who registered. I'm actually truly honored, right? So far, we have got about 600 plus people coming in, and there's more. So before I begin, yeah, thank you very much for acknowledging that. Some more housekeeping rules, right? Make sure throughout the session, feel free to ask me questions, type into the chat, because I'll be asking you to do a lot of activities with me, right? Because as you can see here, we are all already accustomed to online learning, right? And you know by now it's very different from physical training where I cannot see you. You probably only can see me. So in order for me to get feedback from you, I need you to help me to help you so that you can type more into the chat, right? Engage with me, ask questions along the way. Just make sure that later on you type Elias Ka Hoe if you need to direct any questions to me so that my team and I can be able to pick it up, because there's going to be like 600 or 700 of you guys here, right? Then it's going to be a lot of questions. So I'll do my best to answer your questions. I'm not sure whether I can answer all or not. But yes, that's the promise. I'll do my best, right? Because we only have 1 hour. So you want to remain anonymous with some of your questions, please should be sure to tick the send private message in case some of you ask me specific questions. If I can help answer, I will do it for today. Handouts will be available to download on the tab on the right-hand screen. This presentation will be shared as a PDF document at the end of the session, so don't worry. And I wanted to check with you guys, right? How many of you would like free gift? Type gift in the chat. Right, so my promise here is that if you guys stay until the end of the session, I'm going to give you a gift personally, right? to help you to prepare for a worry-free retirement. How many of you like that? Awesome. Thank you very much for all your response. Yeah, keep it coming, keep it coming. Okay, so we have about 700 people in the room, and like I said, we don't really have much time. So is it okay we start? Let me know in the chat. Type start if you're ready. Right, for those of you still having technical difficulty, right, reach out to my admin. She will actually help you, right? All right, awesome. And I believe this session is recorded, right? In case really the technical difficulty got some issue, then yeah, feel free to get the recording later on. Okay, I think most of you are ready to start. Let's start without further ado. Hi, my name is Ka Hoe, in case some of you don't know who I am. I'm a licensed financial planner with Securities Commission with Malaysia. I'm also licensed with Bank Negara Malaysia, which is the central bank of Malaysia. Yes, you'll be hearing something, but the audio, maybe you got some issue, then you need to type into the chat and get my admin to help. Okay, so I've been doing this. I've been a licensed financial planner for the past, how many years really now? I think about 9 years, ever since 2016. But I've been in the financial industry for the past 14 years, right? So I'm very happy to be able to serve you guys, mainly because I believe that everyone, you know how we'll never learn money in school, right? Anybody here actually, like me, never learn money in school? Type 1 in the chat. Yeah, exactly, right? I think it's not only Malaysia. I think if you are in other parts of the world, last I heard it's actually quite similar, right? And most of you know that through education, we can alleviate poverty, right? For me, why am I continuing to do this in the past 16 years, right? Conducting about 200 plus webinars in the last 3 years. I started doing this financial education and financial webinar during COVID, right? We've helped about 5,000 Malaysians. And I'm very happy to be able to reach out to all of you today. It's because I have one belief. I believe that everyone has the right to financial education. Do you agree? If you agree, give me a thumbs up. All right. So, and hence that's why I believe this is something very important, is because I went through my financial crisis also. Yeah, you didn't hear me wrong. As a licensed financial planner, I also have a financial crisis. So I just want to share a little bit story with you before we start, so that at least you get a bit of context as to what I do, right? So at one point of time, my claim to fame is how I bought 16 property in 3 months. Yes, you heard that right. It's 16 property in 3 months. But of course, I always share that story with a lot of humility, because when we were doing that back in 2012, right, there were 8 of us doing it together. But of course, subsequently, come 2015, where you notice that times have changed. We call it the property winter, right? And that was the introduction of GST. That's in Malaysia, right? So that's where I started facing problems, because out of the 8 investors, there was like 3 people left out of the whole joint venture, right? So at one point of time, I was having a deficit of 5,000 per month. So can you imagine how painful it is to have 5,000 negative per month? Right? Painful, right? Quite painful is painful. But one thing I realized is something I must be doing something right, because if I can still survive until today, that means there's something that I'm doing right compared to my other partners who have been filing for bankruptcy and going through certain AKPK. AKPK is our similar like our credit counseling, which is offered by the government for free, right? So hence, that's why I decided to share all this financial planning knowledge to more people, so that I believe that more people can benefit and they don't have to suffer. And here is how I actually joined this new firm called Wealth Vantage Advisory and stumbled upon Naluri. So I'm so happy to be able to serve here as one of the financial coach in Naluri, so that I can help you guys overcome any kind of worry and anxiety, right? How many of you have met people who don't have money and they are unhappy? Type 1 in the chat, right? I think this is quite common. But how many of you also met people who have a lot of money but still unhappy? Type 2 in the chat. Right? Because in my past 16 years experience, right, this is the number of people, which is very fascinating. You know, I meet people who are unhappy because they don't have money. That's normal. But I also meet people who have a lot of money, but they're also unhappy. So then truly what makes them happy, right? So hence today, why we're having this session is because we want to make sure you can achieve your retirement, but at the same time, you'll be able to achieve your retirement worry-free, right? How many of you want to achieve your retirement? How many of you want to be financially free? Type 3 in the chat. Yeah, I believe everyone, right? But what's more important is really about achieving financial freedom and be happy at the same time. Don't you agree? Right? If you agree, type 4 in the chat. Yeah, exactly, right? So hence that's why we are having this community session by Naluri, right? And we will start off today's session with a poll. Okay, before the poll, sorry, what we're going to talk about today, because I only have like 40 minutes, so I'm going to cover 3 main points. Of course, you see 5 topics here, right? The 3 main points is really about power of early planning, right? I'm also going to talk about helping you to understand overview, how to map your retirement roadmap, right? And of course, we're going to do some activity, depends on whether we have time or not, estimating your retirement needs. But more importantly, this is the most important, right? I'm sure you guys want to have certain strategies, certain smart strategies to help you to retire and retire happy, right? And lastly, we're going to go through some activities, if having enough time, to find out how hard your money is working for you. How many of you curious whether your money is working hard for you or you're working harder? Type me in the chat. Yeah, because I before I developed this simple activity, right, I also wonder, because the normal financial planning process tend to take too long, right? But to find out this simple answer, so I figure out a way, like how how we actually do blood tests. It's like a 5 minute thing. You just poke in, take a blood, and then you can see whether you're healthy or not. How many of you heard of Paji and Feng Shui before, right? This is like the Chinese metaphysics. You give them the birth date, then they can calculate for you what is your luck, what is your fortune. So we developed something similar. We're going to share with you, right, together with some free gift that I promise you along the way. All right, awesome. You guys are great energy. Please keep it coming. I really very happy to really see like 854 people in the room right now, right? So before we're going to start today's session, we're going to do a poll, right? And I want you guys all to participate. Is it okay? Yes, thank you very much, Michelle. So I want you guys to type, right? Many of you dream of early retirement, but what's the biggest hurdle holding you back? Okay, so just pick one answer. Which one is the most? What is the biggest pain point, right? Is it whether it's really saving enough money or you're not sure the retirement direction or the plan, right? Or some people don't want to retire because they fear of missing out in terms of the employer health insurance. I've seen people like that as well. And lastly is to uncertain about how to fill your retirement time. That means you're retired already, you don't really know what to do. This is really true because many people I've seen, the moment they retire, within 3 years, if they don't have a purpose in life, right, their body deteriorate and then they pass on very quickly. So this is a real challenge, especially for people who retire early and they've got no purpose in life, right? Thank you very much. 50% of you have answered, right? Can we get like the rest of them? Maybe hopefully the technical problems have been resolved, right? But so far I'm seeing like 257 answers saying that the biggest problem is about saving enough money. The second highest will be lack of retirement plan. Okay, let's give it another 2 minutes, then we're going to close the poll. Right, for those of you who answered, thank you very much. For those of you who cannot see the poll, please reach out to my admin, right, Michelle, right? She'll be able to help you. But of course, you have to be patient now because there's 800 of you and there's only one of her. Okay, the leading one is still saving enough money or not. the biggest problem. Okay, 70% have answered. We're going to close the poll in 1 more minute. Okay, for those of you who haven't done it, please help me to do it. So it looks like saving money is not only a Malaysian problem, it's really like a problem all around the world, right? Especially we keep thinking that Malaysia having a high inflation. I believe this is a common situation. Recently, I did a talk with an Australian company. I think it's the same situation there as well. People saying that they can't save money because of rising goods prices, right? Okay, Michelle, should we stop the poll and share the poll? About 72% have voted. Results are public. I think you all can see this as well, right? Okay. Thank you very much for those of you who have answered. So the top answer here is about the challenge of saving money. Thank you very much. This is also affirming what I'm seeing as a licensed financial planner, right? And this common problem, right? You'll be very surprised. It just doesn't happen to people who have low income. Even people who have high income, they also have this problem. So it's not an income problem. It's really a saving problem. All right. And the second, the second highest, which is lack of clear retirement plan. Hopefully today I'll be able to shed some light to you. But of course, if you want to try and crunch or cram everything into 1 hour, in terms of retirement planning, that's quite impossible, right? So hopefully my intention here is to get you guys, create an aha moment for you, hopefully, right? So that you can get motivated to take action, right? And this motivation is always better to come intrinsically, that means internally, right? Rather than an external motivation. Okay, thank you very much for all of you who have voted. And I'll start my session. So, okay, if you're ready, type ready in the chat. Can we see the result for the poll? Yes, you can see the result in the poll besides the chat box. Thank you very much, Michelle. All right, thank you for all your response. So we're going to start the session by talking about the power of early planning, right? Later I'll go maybe a bit deeper into the saving part, or maybe the saving part, maybe we can cover it in the next session. If you really truly enjoy this session, right? Do give feedback to Naluri. So I'm sure many of you have heard of the 7 wonders of the world, right? Type yes if you have heard of it. 7 wonders of the world. Yes, I believe so. But how many of you actually know there's this 8th wonder? Right, the 8th wonder. Anybody can type 8. What's the 8th wonder in the world? Yes, thank you very much, Simone and Mihao. Right, the 8th wonder is really compound interest. Right, so many of you know Albert Einstein. Right, he says that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So this is really true because, like I said, we didn't really learn money in school, right? And I believe this is one of the core, or rather pillar, content or subject we needed to learn besides mathematics, to be able to understand when you're buying a car, right? Are you getting the best deal or not, right? You don't just look at the interest rate now. When you're buying a house, right, are you getting the lowest interest versus just looking at the interest rate, right? And similarly, if you know how to do that, then you'll be able to turn the compound interest into your strength. What do I mean by that? Essentially is, how many of you heard of this rule of 72? Type 72 in the chat. Right, let me just show you what it means by compound interest. How many of you never hear before 72, rule of 72? Type X in the chat. Yeah, so for those of you who know, thank you very much. Please be patient with us. But I assure you one thing is that I just require or ask for you to be open-minded, because sometimes when the things that you already know, right, perhaps you want to remain open to see from a different perspective to actually help you. Because one of the biggest lessons that I always teach in our classes is that if you already know how do you use it to your advantage, right? Knowledge is not enough, but the application of knowledge is power, right? Yeah, especially you need to unlearn so that you can relearn, right? Thank you very much, Zamri. Yes. So this rule of 72 is actually a very simple concept. For those of you who don't know, let's say if you want to find out, right, if our property doubles from 100,000 to 200,000, right, and we want to know what is the return, okay? So let's say if it takes 7 years for this property to double from 100,000 to 200,000, how do we know what's the return? Very simple. You take 72 divide by 7. So I want you to quickly take out your handphone, open up your calculator, and help me to calculate 72 divided by 7. What is that amount? All right, and type in the chat, of course. Thank you very much. Thank you, Billy. 10.3. Yeah, do you all get 10.3? Exactly. So what this means is that for this property to double in value after 7 years, it needs to compound at the rate of 10.3%. Okay? If you understand, type U in the chat, right? Because then the question you'll be asking yourself is that if currently most of the assets, right, you're only putting at the fixed deposit. Of course, fixed deposit is going to be different from every location. In Malaysia, it's about 4%, right? In Australia, it's about 5 to 6%, about high 5%. Malaysia, maybe not 4, senior citizen about 4, 3%. So can you imagine how long it would take for your money to double if you were to put it into, let's say, for example, the interest rate is 3%. So similarly, you can use this rule of 72. You take 72 divided by 3. 72 divided by 3, right? What do you get? 24. That means it takes 24 years to double your money if you were to put it into a fixed deposit at 3% per annum, Okay? Can you wait so long, guys? You probably want to retire earlier than 24 years, right? Yeah, exactly. Date already. Oh, so fast. I thought the people in this room are very young. Oh, by the way, how many of you are married with no kids? Type M and K. If you're married with kids, type MK. If you're single, type S. And if you're towards retirement, right, type R. Thank you very much. So that at least I know who am I talking to. Okay. A lot of married with kids here. A lot of single as well. I see some retirees. MK is Musang King. Yeah, I think a lot of married with kids. Yeah, thank you very much. Right, so especially if you're married with kids, then it's going to be even more challenging, especially because you have to not only take care of yourself, your spouse is working, then you take care of your kids. Maybe some of you have parents, right? Then that's why, hence the poll shows that most of us are struggling with saving. Okay, married to now, wow, so big already. Thank you very much. So can you see that rule of 72 is a very simple way of determining how fast you want to double your money, right? You can do it 2 ways. Like just now, what we went through over here is that if you have the years, right, you take 72 divided by 7, then you know what is the compounding return it takes for you to double your money within 7 years. That is 10.3. Similarly, the other way we were talking about is that if you have the return, say for example, you find that there is something like a 6% return for our provident fund, right? So if you want to know how long it takes for your money to double, you take 72 divided by 6%, right? Then you get a number of 12 years. Yeah, SB is about 15 years, right? So can you see right now? It's a very simple rule of thumb that you can use, right? So that we can show you, like, if you find that some of you may be more conservative, right? You find that, I don't take high risk, I put in FD only. But then the next question you want to ask yourself is, can you wait 24 years? Right? Most people say cannot. Then definitely you have to put into something that works harder, right? Then if you put like 12% return per year, you can double your asset in 6 years, right? But then 12%, the next question you ask yourself is like, hey, 12%. What kind of assets that can consistently grow at 12% per year? Will it be exceedingly high risk? Yeah, like BKing, on BKing. Rule of 72 is a simplified formula that calculates how long it takes for investment. Yes. Yeah. Right. So this is something to get you guys started lah. Okay. If you're learning something so far, type yes into the chat. I'm going to move on. Right. So cool. So coming back to why we need to start early for retirement is because you want to leverage on the power of compounding interest. So now that you know compound, I want to show you here. Maybe it's a bit small to see lah, huh? You can see Ben, right? He started at the age of 21, right, investing, and Joey started at the age of 30. Assuming both of them actually compound at the same rate, right? Can you see that for like Ben, who started much earlier, 9 years earlier, using the compound interest, he basically be able to generate an extra of about almost $1 million, 800 to 900,000. Yeah. So Tuan Ishak, please ask the question later. You remember to tag me. What about effects of inflation rate to this rule of 72? Definitely, that's why you need to hire a financial planner so that they can actually help you to adjust inflation-adjusted investment return. But of course, you can learn it for yourself as well. We do encourage. But sometimes when you have kids and then you're taking care of parents, then you're working very hard in your career, then there's really not much time left, right? So for those of you younger, right, coming back to here, the power of compounding interest is really about, do you know what to invest, number one, and do you use your age and your time to your advantage or not, right? Because when you have a longer time horizon and you can actually save a much lower amount, right, and compound it over time, that's basically how we work, how it works. Okay? But if you guys are thinking like, hey, you know what, I'm still single and it's still too early for me, right? Then why do I need to plan for my retirement now? If you guys had a chance to talk to people who are older, right? The problem is very real, right? Because when you are close to retirement, sometimes you don't have like enough time to work your money. Basically, you may have to downsize and move to a smaller place, right? Some people have to work until they die. Some not enough funds, right? When you retire and you don't have enough money to put that aside, to have enough money for your living expenses, then your credit cards debts will accumulate, and essentially your family struggles, right? And you lose the joy of retirement and stress and worry. So I want to share with you a very real story, right? Recently, no, but last year I met this uncle who's about 64 years old. He came to my pre-retirement workshop. I told him, Uncle, you're not suitable for this pre-retirement workshop because it's normally for people who at least 5 years before his retirement. And basically, he's already retired. But he said that he wanted to learn. And I really admire his motivation to learn, right? But one of the questions he asked is that, do I sell off my current house so that I can extend my retirement? Because he's actually taking care of the wife. The 2 kids is actually working already. But he don't expect the kids to support him. So when I look at his whole financial situation, right, if he don't sell his house, he will only be able to retire for 7 years. That means he will have enough funds to last him 7 years. However, if he sell off his house, he would be able to extend up to 15 years. That means he extend another 8 years, right? But they face the problem of having to rent, which is also increased in cost as well, right? But if you ever talk to people who are on the verge of retiring, right, they want to be in a very familiar place like your own home, right? It's actually quite painful for you to move out to somewhere else and live in like a place which you have to start all again versus somewhere you've been staying for like 30, 40 years, right? How many of you can relate to that? Type yes in the chat. So when I spoke to him, I felt very heavy in the heart, because we used to see that as a number in the financial planning statistics, right? But to finally meet somebody and to talk to him, it was really a a motivation for us, that's why we wanted to do this kind of webinar, so that you guys learn it, take charge of your situation, and avoid this kind of conversation towards retirement. Okay, Ken? Yes? So if it's okay, next we're going to go into mapping your retirement roadmap. Hey, I see Geeta here, so a very familiar name. I will start my retirement on next month. Oh, cool. Thank you very much for sharing, Gabling. So map your retirement roadmap. Of course, like I said, we don't have really much time, but I'm going to give you an overview first, right? The overview here is that, do you realize our retirement is really like a travel plan that we are making, right? Let me ask you guys this question. If you're going to, upon retiring, right, where is the first place you would like to take or go for a holiday? Type in the chat. Swiss, yes, I get that a lot. Istanbul, Taiwan, China, cool. Switzerland, Macau, New Zealand, Japan, Mecca. Stay at home, wow, cool. Even more frugal, man. Okay, so very good. Please keep on typing. So why I'm asking this question is because your retirement planning is really a lot like planning for your next trip, right? So we all know for going for holiday is very straightforward. You know where you are, you have your destination, right? Then subsequently, you have to decide you want to travel by car, cruise, or plane, right? And then of course, depending on how long the trip is, then you have to plan for your resources in terms of the journey, the route, the process of going there, right? Whether you have to have enough clothes, food, money, whether got internet, etc., right? So this is a typical how you plan for your holiday. But why I'm showing this to you is because when you look at your retirement planning, actually, do you realize it's also similar? But the biggest problem in your retirement planning is you don't know where is your destination because you don't know where is your finish line. And then the bigger problem is that you don't know where you are right now financially. This is the two biggest problem, right? The moment you understand these two already, then anything in between will become easier. Okay? So for example, how do we know where we are right now is we typically will get you to do your financial compass. Financial compass is really your cash flow asset liability, right? It gives you the direction of where you want to go. It also finds out where you are right now so that you can find out where your destination is. Okay. Of course, your finish line will be different from each and every person, similar like how you all go for your trips, right? You all have different destination. But eventually you notice that if you ever have attempted to calculate your retirement number, then most of you will be shocked. Oh, so much. Can I really reach it? But I would say that most of the retirement calculator out there tends to overwhelm you, right? So I actually have a website. If you want, you can actually go to my website to actually download a free calculator, because we're not going to do it today, but you can actually download the calculator and do it for yourself to see with inflation adjusted, right, what is your financial freedom number, right? It's actually called J Advisory. J Advisory is not a financial planning company, it's a personal financial education, right? You go to e-resources, you can download for free, right? Once you decided where is your retirement goal, then you will be deciding what is the best investment for you, because different people will have different risks, right, to reach their destination. And of course, last but not least, it's really just like, when you're taking a plane to get to your location, right? If you ever understand how a pilot maneuver to the destination, you know that every time the plane will get off track, right? Do you actually constantly review and get it back on track or not? That's very important, right? How many of you can see the overview picture right now? Type yes in the chat. What is the website for your free retirement calculator? It's called jadvisory.asia/e-resources. Okay, later I'll share the link here as well. And I believe Naluri also have this similar course and lesson that you can actually go through, right? So, but before we set out to find out what is our end goal or our destination, more importantly, what does your financial freedom looks like, and why do you want to reach your retirement? I think that's more important, right? Because some people, like you guys say, right, it's really for holiday, right? Some people talks about buying a big house, buying a big car, right, for their retirement. Some people go into business, right? Yeah, so many people has many different reasons, right? So I would love to get you to ask yourself or understand what is your why. Why is it so important for you to retire comfortably or retire worry-free, right? Share with me in the chat, right? Because some people want to do, they want to contribute to society. Like some of them want to do charity, right? When they are financially free. Some want to go to different places so that they can learn different things. Yeah, thank you very much. Live peaceful with nature. That's something I look forward to. Peace of mind, yes, sustainability. Don't have to work with bossy boss. Yeah. Don't worry about financial daily expenses. Okay, stay active. Very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, keep it coming. So that's why I wanted to share with you the formula towards financial freedom, in case many of you already know. But I'd like to share, because a lot of people ask me, what do you mean by financial freedom, right? And I just want to share with you, financial freedom is really when your passive income is higher than your expenses. That means, let's say if you have a 5,000 passive income coming in every month from your assets that work hard for you, and your expenses is only 4,000, right? Technically, you can already retire, right? Some of you probably already can retire now. It's just that you never take time to go and check how much is your passive income, how much is your expenses, right? Hence, that's why you probably be like still working, and then hopefully after today's session, you go back and check. Then you share with me, right? Hey, Ka Hoe, I'm financially free. Yeah, then I'll be very happy for you as well. So when it comes to financial planning, right? In order to reach this, for those of you who are still on progress to hit this, what I want to share with you, financial freedom or hitting your retirement number is a two-step process. How many step? It's a two-step process. Type 2 in the chat. Yes. So the first thing first, right, is if somebody wants to immediately go out there and create passive income, and then hope for the best, they try to cram these two into one way, right? Or one, like they try to shortcut it, right? Rather than split it into two different tasks, right? They find it very hard and a bit longer. If you split it into two tasks, mean to say you actually go and invest and buy assets that grow first, that appreciate over time, right? And then secondly, only convert these assets that appreciate over time into assets that generate income. That's what I mean by the two-step process. Right, let me repeat. What is this two-step process? First, you need to buy assets that appreciate over time. Okay, that's the first step. Second, then you convert those assets that have appreciated into streams of income. Okay, if you understand, type U. Because a lot of people, they try and buy one asset that generate them the passive income. That's a lot harder because you don't have the capital to do it, right? Especially most of you find it very challenging to save. Somebody was asking, can you give an example? Yes. Very straightforward example most people always do is that people buy property. Let's say the property appreciated. The property next to me, right? The owner bought it at 280,000. After 20 years, it appreciated to 850,000. Right? Come retirement, they take the property, sell it off, right? Then they put it into, let's say, another asset, for example, a provident fund that generates 6%. Right? 800,000, 6% is about how much? 48,000. That's like 4,000 a month. Correct. 800,000, 6%. Yeah, 48,000. That's like 4,000 a month. Okay, so far? Can you get the idea? If yes, type yes. Yeah, so that's why you need to determine what is the type of asset that you feel comfortable is. There's no one size fit all. Okay? Hence, that's why over here, there is two ways. The one that actually we were talking about is this. In order to be financially free in the financial planning side, we talk about capital preservation. Right? Meaning to say you grow your capital up until a certain point, and then the assets will help you to give you passive income perpetually. This is the ideal situation. But many of us may find that we may not be able to do it. So this is the second way. We call it capital liquidation, right? Meaning to say you grow your assets to the point when you retire, then you use and liquidate those assets, and hopefully you die and it's sufficient. If you live longer, then that's going to be a problem. If you die earlier, then no problem. Okay, pardon me for being very blunt, but I need to let you understand what it means. Right? So generally, if I were to ask you between this capital liquidation versus this capital preservation, which one do you prefer? Right? If you prefer capital liquidation, type CL. If you prefer capital preservation, type CP. Yeah, naturally it's more on CP lah. Okay. Thank you very much. So we only have like another 3 more minutes to cover the last part. I promise you the smart strategies for saving and growth. Like I said, there's two strategies here, right? You need to be able to save enough money in order to give you cash flow so that you can have the capital or bullet to invest, right? But today I'm not going to talk about the savings part, okay? Hopefully you give me good feedback. Then Naluri asked me to come back and have another session on savings, cash flow management, right? I'm going to talk about how hard is your money working for you in terms of the growth part. Because right now, most of you would have an idea how to retire, what you need to do to retire in terms of the big picture. But you'll probably be asking like, how hard is your money working for you, right? How do you measure? So how many of you read this book before, called The Millionaire Next Door? Type yes if you have read this book. No, okay, it's actually a very good book, but it's actually 200 pages is quite technical, right? So what we did is to summarize it for you into a simple tool that you can use to generate and find out how hard your money is working for you. This book is written by Dr. Thomas Stanley, right? A professor in US. Basically, he want to find out like how does millionaire spend and live their life, right? And what do they do to really work their money hard? So let me share with you a couple of examples because this percentage that I'm going to share with you relates to high financial IQ. And don't worry, after you do the test, you have very low financial IQ, it's fine because we all never learn money in school, remember? So the idea here is for you guys to learn and eventually be able to elevate your financial IQ. Who wants to elevate your financial IQ? Type IQ in the chat. So I'm going to share with you a couple of case study, okay? Like over here, right? When you see this is a 200%, basically this person is at age 48, earning a gross income of 195,000. He's supposed to have a net worth of 1 mil. Currently, he has a net worth of 2 million. So in case some of you don't know what net worth is, right? It's basically your asset minus your liability. That is your net asset, which is also your net worth. Why is net worth very important? Is because this is what you're going to retire on. Okay? So if it's like 200%, means to say this person, not to say very smart, but basically his money is working at 2x, right? Let me show you another one. And of course, how he did it is because when you dissect it, right, he's quite lucky, he bought 2 property, okay? He bought the first property for own stay, and subsequently he upgraded into another property, and then he rented his whole property, okay? So naturally, in order for you to have money working hard for you, you need to have a sizable investment asset, right? Don't just buy assets that you consume, buy assets that invest for you. All right. Here's another example of money not working hard enough. Person 38 years old, earning an income of 87,000, right? Expected net worth is 370,000, but current net worth is 230,000. So the percentage is below 100%, right? Can you see here 61%? 100% means to say he's working his money at 1x, means to say you are saving and just saving and not really working hard, just one time only. But when your money is working at 0.6x, means to say it's eaten up by inflation. That means it's already sleeping. On top of that is there's some leakages as well, right? And naturally, this type of person, right, they will have problem. The common problem they will always ask is like, hey, how can I save more money, right? So after I share this with you, right, I want to share with you what does this mean. Later when you're doing this, right, later when I'm going to give you this free gift, you all can actually do it for yourself and basically find out what is the meaning of it, right? Whether it's below 100%, then it basically means to say that you need help in accumulating wealth. Then how do you tie this, whether it's consistent or not, with your problem? Is you probably be having this self-talk of asking yourself this question of how do I have more savings? If you are more than 100%, right, then your concern, I mean, you're good at accumulating wealth, but your concern will be how do I continue to make more profit, right? And above 200% is even better, but of course the concern will be different, and the concern for 200 and 300% will be definitely different. So far, the highest I've seen is 500%. Okay, so what is MND? Very good question. MND basically means that the book, the MND percentage, Millionaire Next Door. Basically, we tie it to your financial IQ and also how hard your money is working for you. All right. So of course, we don't have time to go through and like let you do it step by step over here, but definitely, we love for you to find out by giving you this free gift, right? How many of you like that free gift? Type yes in the chat. So this is where Michelle, can you help me to send the free gift into the chat? Into so that everyone can download. I need you guys to do me a favor. Is it okay? Please do it. After that, share it with me in the Naluri has a chat. You can actually reach out to me in Naluri as well, and basically share with me what is your, we call it the financial IQ percentage. Okay, I think if you guys can see it, can you see the handout? If you've seen the handout or you managed to download it, type yes. Michelle, my site is flickering. Not sure whether it's a problem or not. I think you're trying to share the handout, but it keeps flickering. And I can't click back to my chat. Okay. So in order for us to, okay, so if you guys have any problem filling up that, do reach out to me on through Naluri, right? Because actually we actually have some quiz for you, but because we're running out of time, we definitely can't go through it. But no worries, I believe most of you would be able to know how to key in this. If you don't know, that's why we are here as a financial coach. All right. So in case some of you are curious, like what is the formula for this MND, right? This is the formula, right? You take your age, multiply by your annual income, multiply by a multiplier. Okay. So annual income, yes, it's a gross salary. And what is the basis of 0.112? The one you have to ask Dr. Thomas Stanley. It's just a multiplier that he found when he was doing his statistics and finding out millionaire how they live. And this is how we actually use it for our sessions, our diagnosis as well as the session we talk to our clients. Okay. So in case some of you want to take this, it's also in the calculator, right? Feel free, right, to snapshot this. It's also in the handout. To conclude the whole thing, right, I just want to share with you, if you're doing it right, how do you double your wealth? Is basically, if you buy an asset at 2 million, right, and you take a liability of 1.8 million, then your net worth is 200,000. By having that asset increase 10% a year, and for you to pay down your liabilities, right, after a year, you notice that your net worth will be doubled, right? Just by having this 10%, this one just pay off 1 year, right? Your net worth will be 476,000. So sometimes the message that I'm trying to share here is that we may not know, or we cannot really see exponential growth. Our brain is trained to see linear growth. Right? So in summary, start early, leverage on time, right? Retirement is easier than you think. And most importantly, use compounding effect to your advantage. So I'm going to take some question and answer, but I think the system is flickering. I cannot move back to the chat, Michelle. I think you need to help me on that. But yeah, while you're typing your question, you can actually download this free Naluri Financial Wellbeing Assessment, right? Feel free to scan the QR code, right? It's anonymous and free for all. You just have to go in, scan already, you go and select the financial well-being one, okay? If you guys want to have a conversation with me, you can actually book through this consultation in this QR code, right? Or you can actually reach out to me in the Naluri app via chat as well. The QR code is here as well, okay? Yeah, let's open up for Q&A. Oh yeah, by the way, please take some time to give me feedback if you think this is something you like after going through this 1 hour. Of course, I wish to have more time with you guys as well, but feel free to do the feedback so that Naluri sees that, hey, you know what, you guys truly enjoy it, and then they will invite me to come back and continue the next topic for you guys. Okay, what are the best assets for besides property? Actually, there's a lot, Trevor. There's ETF, right? Right now, it's a low cost passive investing, right? You just need to understand what is it. Most importantly, you need to understand the assets, what you're investing in. But definitely, there's a lot more than just property, right? Let me go into the question Q&A. Michelle, I have problem trying to view the question because the handout part keep popping up on my side. Every time I click on the question, then you bring me back to the handout. Okay, I need to know what shall we invest prior to investment. This question, alamak. It keeps popping back into the handout. If how do I do this, Michelle? I need help here. Okay, maybe I copy and paste to a chat and see whether it helps or not. Okay, give me a minute. There's some technical issue here because I can't see the question. It just keeps prompting me back into the handout side. Okay, so how do I know if money is enough or not from retirement? So of course, I didn't cover it today, Rasman, but feel free to download that retirement calculator so that at least you know what is the amount you need. But of course, if you want a more accurate calculation, my suggestion is to sign up for one-to-one or hire a financial planner lah, so that you know. I think the worst thing is that you do it yourself, right? And then you follow the plan, and then halfway through you find out that hey shit, it's not enough, or I calculated wrongly. I think that's the worst case scenario lah, right? So that is what I'm suggesting. Tuan Ishak say that what is the effect of inflation to this rule of 72? Yes, Tuan Ishak, this rule of 72 doesn't take into consideration inflation, right? This is just a simple calculation. But what I want to share with you here is that the rule of 72 is based on the compounding interest, not on the simple return of, not on the simple return calculation, right? There's a difference between simple interest return calculation versus compounding interest calculation, okay? But of course, either way, we still need to take into effect of the inflation, right? Because after you deduct inflation, right, then it will be significantly lower, okay? Siti Nor Hidayu, what is the basis or multiplier of 112? I think that I answered already. She also asked, is it okay we buy leasehold asset? The answer is yes, but you have to just make sure that the lease is sufficient, right? Currently, I'm also staying in a property which is leasehold, but when I bought it, it's like 99 years. So for me, I felt it's okay, right? But of course, for certain people I spoke to, if they have like a better financial situation, right, and they want to choose between freehold, definitely freehold will give a better value, because when you are passing it to the next of kin and then eventually they sell it off, right, chances are it can better preserve the value compared to leasehold. But if it's within your lifetime, chances are it will still be good enough, especially if you pick the right location. Okay, Siti, I hope you answer your question. Zoko, annual income is the gross income. Yes, the answer is yes. Tiffany, I need to know what shall we invest prior to investment. Like I said, there's a lot. There is one there's one website you can actually go into, right, to find out all the different asset classes, right? If you want to know, there's basically 5 to 6 asset classes, right? We've got fixed income, we've got property, we've got equities. Equities is like unit trust and stocks. We've got commodities like gold, oil, and all those things. Then of course we've got cash and cash equivalent, right? Okay, Tiffany, how I answer your question? Daniel, are medical expenses the key expenses outflow for retirees? Alamak. Worth buying medical insurance given the steep step up in premium or higher if got pre-existing medical condition after 60 years old? Okay, Daniel, the answer is yes. Medical expenses tend to be one of the major contribution, as well as insurance. The person that I met, the 64-year-old one, right, one of the biggest chunk that's coming out of his cash flow was insurance, medical insurance. So that's why I have given this talk. I'm not sure how many people here have gone through it. It's called policy maximization rate. Essentially, is to help people to set up their insurance, especially medical, when they need to continue to use it even after past retirement. And if you ever really look at the cost of insurance for medical, right, it's actually very high, especially at 60 and above. So it's always good to set up like a sinking fund. For us, we call it an invest the difference account. But the simple analogy is like a sinking fund, where you then use the sinking fund to help you to pay for your medical insurance, right? So that it doesn't become a burden to you. Okay, that is on Daniel. No, Ashraf, if increasing my EPF contribution to more than 20% employee contribute, is it good move or not? To answer the question, these are two questions into one. If you are saying increasing EPF contribution definitely is better for your retirement, right? But I think in terms of employee maximum contribution, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 19, not 20, right? But of course, you can, if let's say you maxed out on your regular contribution on your EPF. For those of you who don't know what's EPF, EPF is like a provident fund, because we have friends from outside Malaysia as well. You want to contribute more money into your provident fund like EPF. I think now there's a voluntary contribution up to 100,000. So if you max out that 90% monthly contribution, then you can use that 100K voluntary contribution. So it's definitely good because EPF is provident fund return is what we call like a risk-free return, right? You put in there, there's a certain guarantee as well. So every year it's getting 5-6%. So yeah, why not lah? Especially after COVID, I think this is a very good option to anchor your whole asset allocation. Okay, there's a lot of question here. I will do my best to answer it. I think we'll take another 5 more minutes to answer your question. For those of you who haven't finished the feedback, can you help me to complete the feedback? This is actually what Naluri needs it for, to ascertain, whether I did a good job, right? And whether to invite me back for the next session. So you guys want to see me back for the next session, please help me to put the feedback. And of course, I would love to hear from you guys, especially if there's any room for improvement. Yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to as well. Okay, next question. No Ashraf. For rental property, is it a good approach for making the rental below the monthly commitment for prolonged years but ensure long-term tenant stay? I don't really understand the question. Rental property, if you can, of course, the best is to make it into a positive cash flow property. What I mean by positive cash flow property is that after your rental, your tenant paid already, right? It can cover for the installment, the maintenance, sinking fund, and all these other costs. Then that is a very good, what we call a grade A property. Grade A property means to say it's a positive cash flow and it's a capital appreciation. It appreciates over time. But in terms of making sure the long-term tenant stay, actually it comes back to whether you are a good landlord, do you provide value for the tenant, and also do you know how to choose a tenant or not. Okay, so that one is a different matter altogether. You can have a high rental, but if you choose the right tenant and you provide good value, they will definitely stay with you. Okay, this is not only my experience, but it's also the community of property investor that I'm part of that actually share the experience. What investment can make return of more than 10% as described just now? Actually, there's a lot. The problem is whether can it make consistently every year, right? So for those of you who have invested in like Bitcoin and Ethereum, you will notice that over the last 1 year is making like 100%. If you do dollar cost averaging, then it's already more than like 10% already. But the question is, can it do 10% a year every year? I think that's always the challenge, right? So that comes back to financial education. And do you review your assets regularly, like on a yearly basis, minimum? That is more important, no? Right? Some other investments that can make 10% a year can be like property. Of course, now property not so good, but currently the other asset class that I mentioned was ETF, no? Right? If you follow VOO, Vanguard, S&P 500 index, right? For the last 1 year, I think it's doing more than 10%. And if you look back at the last 30 years, I think over the last 30 years, the average return is about 14, if I'm not mistaken, 14% a year, right? So these are some of the assets that can do 10%. It's just that, do you have the ilmu, or do you invest into your own financial education and IQ? And do you have the time to go and find out, right? That's the bigger question you need to ask. Okay, Lee? Wow, still got so many questions. I will do our best to answer your question. I definitely cannot answer everyone's question, but I hope, Michelle, you can actually help me to save this question. Then we can also see how we can answer it later on. Okay. How to implement I think whenever you all click on the download handout, right, then my side here, it will move over to the handout. I don't know why it affects that way, but this is very challenging for me to answer the question. How to implement leverage to make money in easy way? How do I use debt to make it? Thank you. This is a very hard question to answer. Fateh, better you come into the one-to-one, because first thing first is you need to know how to save properly, because debt is a double-edged sword. I personally went through that situation, and right now I'm trying to help people to get out of debt so that they can be debt-free, right? So if you don't know how to manage debt, my suggestion is don't go into debt, right? It's just like playing with fire. If you don't know whether you're going to burn yourself or not, make sure that you wear the protective gears. Any strategies, directions for a freshie, I think. Okay, first thing first, you need to, Xingyun, you need to start off with your cash flow management. So if you can go to our website in Naluri as well as J Advisory, right? There are certain cash flow management topics, right? But for J Advisory, the website, my own website, you can go and learn the world's simplest money management system, which is called iStar. And then learn, set up your own financial compass. That's a good start. Okay. Fatah, what is the best ratio and category for your monthly income? What do you mean? I don't understand it. What's the best ratio? Monthly income. Okay, I think if you're talking about the just like I was answering Xingyu's question, right? We use iStar, the world's simplest money management system. The ratio is that you save 1/3, commit 1/3, and then spend 1/3. Meaning to say you save and invest 1/3 of your income, your gross income, spend 1/3 of it, and then you commit like housing loan, car loan 1/3. So if you follow that, you won't go wrong. What is your biggest success in investment? Okay, I think I'll take two last questions. What is your biggest success in investment? What strategy you use to make it, and what you have gained from the lesson, and vice versa? Okay, I would say my biggest success in investment is actually I bought the right property before I joined the property investment course when I got into my 16 property blunder. So those days when I bought my property, it was giving me like 8% rental yield, and I bought it at 250,000. And at the highest point, I could have sold it for 580,000, but I didn't. I only sold it for like 400 plus. It was still good within like a 10 years period, right? And the rental I was getting was about 3,000. The installment is only 1,002, so I was getting like 1,008 positive cash flow, right? So when I had to sell off that property to fund my business, it was very painful. It's like a cash cow. It's like you're selling a baby away. But of course, I also learned to not attach emotions to our investment, but it's easier said than done, right? Okay, last question from Catherine. Sorry, guys, I only have this much time. Please give me a good feedback if you want me to come back, right? Catherine asked, is it okay if I buy an apartment cost per month about 35% of your salary? Catherine, the answer is yes, but if you want to be a bit more prudent, right, you want to make sure that 35% of your salary includes your car loan or your other loans. So if you don't have any of those, then yes, the answer is yes. Okay. So thank you very much for all your participation. I really enjoy your feedback, your energy, and how you make me feel at home, right? So that's all the time I have for you guys. Hopefully, I've gotten enough feedback from you guys that encourages Naluri to invite me to come back and share with you guys, because actually I got a lot of things I want to share with you, right? It's just that because of time that you can see me, I'm going very fast. This is not my normal pace. For those of you who can just type one thing you learned in today's session, right? That will help me tremendously to know that whether I've given enough value for you guys, right? Can you just help me to type one of your biggest learning, if any? All right. Thank you very much. I'm taking a video for today's session just to remind me of today's session. Okay, thank you very much for all your feedback. I see rule of 72, MND, tips of buying asset, investment strategy, calculating net worth, compound interest. Wow, thank you very much. Okay, so I hope to see you guys soon. Take care. Have a splendid day ahead. Hope you get a worry-free retirement soon. Take care. Bye-bye.